tell you one thing, that time I was really slow, wasn't it? Real depressing as well, the music was. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Come on, the Hoops Celtic. I'm here with two special guests tonight. The return of SHEA Doolan from Liverpool, the Liverpoolian team, I'd like to call him.
Up the
And we
Scousers.
got BOTOND from Budapest, Hungary, known as the Hungarian football vlogger. You've done your trips around Europe. People are starting to recognize you. So you're certainly welcome onto the channel. I'm going to start with yourself there, Bogdan. You went to Celtic Park in February. Was that your first time?
Yeah, that was my first time. What a way to kick off my Celtic experiences. I was just blown away by the atmosphere, and I seemed to bring luck to Celtic. Actually, that was my first time and only time so far in Celtic Park. I hope to be back as soon as possible, but it was an excellent opportunity to kick off my Celtic journey, so cold, and I got so much recognition. So it was just a mind-blowing experience. I'll never forget it.
You were sitting in the Lisbon Lions stand. Was that correct?
Exactly, just behind the goals where the three goals were behind the goal where the three goals were scored. So I had the best view on them actually. So it was pretty lucky.
So, like, did you do the stadium tour before you went to the game, or you just got the ticket, took the game in?
The situation was I had my flight to Edinburgh and took the bus then to Glasgow, and it was the same day as the match. And then I visited my host because I was staying at a Celtic fan who also helped me with tickets. And then we went right to the stadium. I took some interviews, visited the fan shop, and talked to some local guys who my host knew. And no tour before the match, but the day after the Glasgow derby, the 3-0, I took the tour as well and filmed there as well. So I think a few people have seen that vlog as well. So after the match, there was a tour completed as well.
You were saying before you came on air, you've been to some fantastic stadiums like Borussia Dortmund and teams in the Bundesliga. Where would Celtic Park rank in the atmosphere and the capacity wise that you've been to?
I'm gonna begin with the capacity because the atmosphere is an even more exciting thing to discuss. Well, capacity-wise, I've been to 3 Bundesliga stadiums for matches. The stadium of Hanover is 49,000 capacity. The one of Hertha Berlin is around 75, if I remember correctly.
Is that where Zidane? Is that where Zidane done the head loaf to Materazzi? That was
exactly
the World Cup final. Yeah,
that's it. Well, the legendary World Cup final of 2006, and then there is a world famous Borussia Dortmund stadium, Signal Iduna Park, that has 81,000 something, or around 82. But because it was a European night and the standing section there weren't so many people allowed to the standing section. There were 66, so that's the European attendance of the Signal Iduna Park. And that was certainly a great atmosphere. But on the night when I was there, we didn't get any goals to celebrate because it was a Dortmund-Barcelona 0-0 match. So match-wise or performance-wise, it wasn't the best, but atmosphere-wise, it was crazy. But I've actually, and you are expecting me to say this answer, but it's actually the honest answer, that Celtic Park ranks absolutely top. I mean, we have a national stadium here named after our greatest legend, Ferenc Puskás. Probably a few heard of him, and actually
Ange,
he had Ange. He had a contact with him, and it was his trainer, and as well they worked together. So it's named after him, and it has I think it's even a bit like Celtic Park has 61,000, right? And our national stadium is 67, but it's a much different construction. You don't
Magic
have
number
windows.
67.
Yeah, 67. You see, it's like so much connection. Yeah, we just see some comments. So hail, guys. So yeah, it's just a different construction, and the stadium isn't closed as Celtic Park because you got the window at on the top of the stands, and that just keeps in the noise. And literally, Celtic fans were celebrating every corner as it was a goal, and it was just so crazy. And the thing is that I never experienced a stadium full of supporters because you get the viewers and you get the ultra section, and the ultra section supports throughout the match. But at Celtic Park, every single person, was shouting, and that's what created that like perfect atmosphere, so called. It was just kind of intimidating. I mean, in a good way. So
So
it's absolute top.
see before the kickoff and you seen the Green Brigade section with the fire display. I said, what were you like? Were you just like, wow, this is something I've never seen before?
Well, the ultra section, I've seen things like that before. So I mean, I'm part of it at Ferencváros. We also, for big matches, we use pyrotechnics, and the but the main difference is that we are standing behind the goal, not at the corner. So that a bit difference. That differs a bit from like the rest of Europe and Scotland or Britain. So we in the Eastern European ultra culture, we always stand behind one of the goals. But so the ultra section itself and the pyro was known to me. So that was, I won't say nothing special because it was really special and they were certainly the loudest. But the the surprising thing, and not the surprising, but the thing which made it special was the rest of the stadium, that every single person was shouting the chants, especially because we get, well,
Sure.
at the sidelines, the VIP, you don't get fans shouting in over here in Hungary and in Eastern Europe, only behind the goal, and it was a whole stadium, and that's what made a difference.
I'd say it was magical when you seen the green lights going on to the team for the huddle. I just thought, like,
Uh, I mean, I regret until today. I regret that I missed that because I didn't know the exact choreography before the match, and I tried to film everything. I tried to catch every important action, which is spectacular and can contribute to my vlog in a good way. But I actually missed the huddle because I wasn't prepared. I think I was walking upstairs to my place because before the match I was a bit downstairs because there I could see both stands because I was standing in the last row, and there you can see the second stand of the other side because the second stand of your side, well, the second tier was like kind of blocking the view, not of the pitch but of the stands. So I was a bit downstairs to film the whole thing with You'll Never Walk Alone, and but somehow I actually missed the huddle. So I'm gonna be I'm gonna be ready for it next time. But it was just something I never saw, and it's such a big celebration. Only like huddling the team, it's magical.
and you were at the Motherwell away game as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I
At
was
Fair
there.
Park.
What an excellent experience! Yeah, excellent performance.
So, will Celtic win the league? 6 points ahead. Will they win the league?
Yeah, they will. I think not by 6 points, but by like 3 or 4. I reckon that.
You think
I
those
I
couple
think
of
it'll be
points?
like 10. I really do. I think they'll
I
go
think.
points.
I
Shay,
mean,
what about you?
I always like to be careful when saying things to this, and especially about teams I love. I hope if it's gonna be 10 points, it's even a bigger thing. But I just like to be careful. But I think by now, because of winning both these derbies, it's uh, it's unquestionable that it's gonna be Celtic now, and title number 52. Is that right? It's gonna be the 52nd if they win. If we win.
I think it's 52. Yeah, 52. Oh, Jesus, I'm gonna have to go on and check that now at this rate. But look at Shay, I'm gonna coach yourself. Before you came on there, you were saying that you used to go up once or twice a season. Now you've been up like 10 times this season. You're
Yeah,
part of the Michael Davitt Liverpool
yeah,
CSC. Well, Manchester and Liverpool, isn't it? It's an
yeah.
alliance.
It's been, I think, with everything that's happened the past few years with COVID and stuff, you just felt deprived of going up to matches. So this season I've just been like, as many matches as I can get down to, I'll be down. And obviously I was at the Celtic Rangers game as well, and it was generally one of the best atmospheres I've seen for years. And I always remember, but when the second goal went in, um, and the whole stadium's bouncing, and I had my phone out recording it, and I ended up catching the third goal just about because the third goal was so quick after the second. I think a lot of people caught the third goal on the phones, which doesn't really happen often in stadiums, but it was unreal. And I was at Leverkusen away as well, and that was one of the best atmospheres I've been to away, even though we lost, but that was unreal.
You're saying you were gigging on Sunday, were you, for the game?
Yeah, I was in Edinburgh, in Dalkeith. It was. It was sold out gig. It was with the Irish Brigade and with the Emer as well. Really good. Just messy one.
Like, look at the last time I had you on this channel, we were in it being the dog shit of a season last season. But like
Yeah,
over the year, how much of things have changed, man.
it's down to the manager. It's simple as that. That's what happens when you. We were all moaning last year about Lennon. Don't get me wrong, I still love Lennon. Um, he's won a lot with us and as a manager, as a player. But you can tell the difference in a manager straight away. And the job he had before he came in, and he come in on his own to do it. It's just that shows how good he is. And it's not like he hasn't been a like. It's not like he's a new manager. He's been around for years, so he understands um what job he had before he came in and what he done, the signings, the everything he's done so far. He's brought the fans back on side as well because everyone remembers last year the fans were falling out of the boards and those protests and
The
the
fours, well, I know the fans weren't there, but you go back to Ferran Varos. The fours, that's when it all started.
that's when it all started, yeah. And just one man, took one man to really bring everyone back on side, and that shows how good he is as a manager, but as a person as well.
Unbelievable. And I know there was a few articles going around, saw paper talk that Man City's Chiefs were looking at him and rating them and stuff. Is Ange good enough for a top four job right now?
Yeah,
Do you think
100%.
if he was linked to Manchester United, he'd be good enough for Manchester United to walk in there and do a job?
100%, but I don't think he'd go.
I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's
I
here for
don't. I
another three
don't think he'd
years.
go. I think at the minute, I think he knows he's got a project and he wants to work on this project for like. Why would you leave now as well? Because you've got Champions League next year if you win the league. Like, if anything, that's just going to boost his profile even more if he
And
does want to go
plus,
to the Prem.
he could be a treble winning manager. I know I'm not trying to get ahead of the game here, folks. I'm saying he could be a treble. Could. I'm gonna say. I was saying to Shay before we came on air, folks. Celtic could be five, 5 times treble winners in the space of 6 years. How crazy is that, Bogtand? How crazy is that to think?
Domestic travel is a special thing, really, because we don't really have it in Eastern Europe. We only have the league and the cup, but over there on the island of Britain and Scotland and England, you got these. I mean, using like Great Britain isn't so advantageous, right?
Just say Scotland, so people won't be
So
too happy.
so we'd rather say Scotland, and in England you have the League Cup too. So actually, in these two countries, you can be treble winners without um, without winning any European title, but dominating your whole domestic football. And yeah, well, this is such a big domination from Celtic, and it's we haven't seen anything like this in history so far. So it's, I mean, we have to concentrate a lot on this. Don't we shouldn't be too proud of ourselves because beating Rangers 2 times, because we got this really important cup semi-final and a lot at stake at Hampden. And
Well,
I mean,
that's Celtic's training ground. They last time they got beaten at Hampden Park was 2016. Now, I'll just tell you a little story. The second last time they got beaten at Hampden, I was there, so I don't go near Hampden. I've been to Hampden three. I've been to Hampden 3 times, folks. 3 times, and we got beaten 3 times. We got beaten by Kilmarnock in the cup final. They scored in the 86th minute. I remember I was going out to get a pie, and I came back in. They scored within seconds. The second time you got beaten by St Mirren. That was the 2012-13 season. Remember Charlie McGrew missed the penalty, Shay?
Yeah, I do
We wore
remember
the
that.
black kit. They went on to win the League Cup. And then the third time was against Ross County. F.A. Ambrose got sent off and he scored the first minute. So I am not touching Hampden Park. I think it's a shithole of a stadium as well. So the only time I'm going near Hampden Park is when Ireland is going to beat Scotland later this year. I'm hopefully getting tickets.
Even I don't think that's going to happen.
We'll see. We'll see. But I'm gonna go back to Ange, and you were saying obviously one of the greatest footballers of all time from Hungary, the great Busquets. he was Ange's first ever manager at South Melbourne, Hellas. So Ange has obviously learned some sort of experience from that great man himself, and it's great for a man like Ange to speak highly rated about Bulgarian football. Not Bulgarian football, Hungarian football. Sorry,
Yeah.
Hungarian.
Well, not the same, man. Not the same.
You're not Sophia.
You should remember something, that the capital of Hungary is Budapest, not Bucharest. That's a big difference.
That's Bucharest is Romania. We're all right. We're okay.
Exactly. Excellent job, mate. That's Romania.
Stella Bucharest, 1986 European Cup winners. I still remember.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
someone asked me. Someone's asking on the channel. There was a question there for you. Just 1 second there. Something about what has been the best game you've ever been at? Any game?
Yeah. I've seen that question. I just but I can't reply to the comments, so I'm glad you asked me this, and I can answer the Rabbi Boy 1888.
Just be honest.
Well,
Doesn't have to be Celtic. In your eyes, what's the best game you have been to?
I mean, there is like 2 point of view. The first is atmosphere wise, and the second is the sentimental part. The sentimental part, I would name Hungary against France, because that was in the Euro 2020, and we scored against France, and we had the lead.
Sexy stadium.
Yeah, like that, like the 67,000. It was almost full. The Hungarian stadium in Budapest, that was allowed to have the biggest capacity around or during the Euro 2020. So like sentimentally, that was, I mean, there's nothing like that in your own country, which is already a small footballing country, because we've been great with the mighty Hungarians, but that's obviously that's not the case anymore. We can get into the World Cup either for like many years, but they're scoring against France, who were the current World Cup winners, and they still are the current World Cup winners, and one of the biggest favorites. That was just an unforgettable experience. But atmosphere-wise, it was Celtic Park, as I mentioned. So I mean, I rank both these 2 games, Celtic Rangers 3-0 and Hungary France 1-1, because they got an equalizer later on. But my best games ever I've been to.
Did you buy a Celtic jersey or a Celtic scarf? I think you have a Celtic scarf. Do you? You definitely have one of them.
Yeah. It's just like over there on my door. I can show you later. I can show you now if you want.
Folks,
but
you've been to St. Pauli as well.
Sorry?
You've been to St. Pauli as well?
Yeah, but only for a stadium tour. But this weekend I'm going to travel there to watch their match against Werder Bremen.
Now that's a big match. That's a big match.
It is. But I mean, I have... Sorry, yeah. Go on, man.
Oh no, so I was saying if South Pauli win, they go top, which is like outstanding. I do follow South Pauli myself as well.
I don't really like Bundesliga, folks. I have a Werder Bremen. Funny enough, actually have a Werder Bremen jersey, because I just like the design on it. No, not Werder Bremen, Wolfsburg. Sorry, Wolfsburg jersey. I have
that as well. I have a Wolfsburg jersey as well.
With the Volkswagen and the neon green going up it. Thought I was Tiesto, but just back to yourself, SHEA. Like, I know the CSC is flying at the moment. There's a lot is going up for the games. When did this all set up?
So it's my cousin who runs it. So my cousin Declan, he started
it on the deck.
He started it up. So not last year, the year before. Because we were hoping to get up to a few games, but still COVID was happening. So it's only really this season where it's took off. Like I remember the start of the season when we were on like an 18-seater bus. There's about 16 of us going up. Now, near enough every home game, we're getting about 30 plus going to the games, which is amazing. It's all down to just getting the name out there, because there's a lot of Celtic fans in Liverpool and Manchester who didn't know there was there used to be clubs. There used to be 2 clubs a while ago, but they all, I think, just people can't be bothered keeping them going. But hopefully this one stays. Either way, without a club or whatever, I'll still be going up to games every year. But it's flying at the minute. We've got over 200 members now, which is madness. Like,
crazy because I've obviously seen clips in different builders. You do be in Fitzgerald's and then Liffey Bar in different places, and
Yeah.
I see the flag. Declan always has that flag with him. It's
It's
like he's always
fucking
wearing.
huge. It's so big. Every time we get it out, it takes about 6 of us to hold it up. Every time we need a picture with it, it's so big. You like that? You can't see your face when you're holding it because it's huge. It's a great flag, but the Michael Davids Celtic Supporters Club started in the 80s, so that flag's from the 80s.
Vintage.
But yeah, very very old flag is still there, but it only started up again last. I'd say it started 2 years ago, but it started properly last year when we could actually get to the stadiums.
Look, and then you have the likes of Liverpool and Everton on your doorstep, and you're like, no, what fuck this? I'm going to Celtic Park. This is where I want to be. This is the atmosphere.
It's not the same. I've been to Anfield and I've been to Goodison and go to Anfield and I don't want to say it, as a scout, I actually want Liverpool and Everton to do well because I am a Celtic fan. I grew up a Celtic fan, but going to Anfield, it's a good atmosphere. It's a great atmosphere. Don't
Do
get
you
me
think
wrong.
it's getting? Do you think it's getting very tourists? Like it's not
It's
like
it's
the
very 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 tourist. I went uh
nothing
West Ham.
against you, Bogdan. Nothing against you. I'm just saying as a
I
tourist.
went yeah I went to West Ham a couple of seasons
I've
ago.
worked there. I'm not a tourist. I worked there, my friend. I failed.
That's it. Suppose you're not one of them guys. Just let's get a postcard.
Yeah. Well, I think when I went, there was a lot of there was a lot of foreign people at the game. Like there was a lot of Norwegians, a lot of Americans. Believe it or not, at the game. Which don't get me wrong, it's great for the club because it shows how worldwide they are, and that's why Liverpool are such a big club. But like you ask many Liverpool Scouts fans, none of them can get a season ticket. None of them can like even get tickets for the game, and
It's just gone to commercial, isn't it?
it's commercial. Yeah, it's so hard to get a ticket for the game nowadays. Which it's not like at Celtic. Majority at Celtic is Scottish or Irish, and it's the way it should be. It's a local club. It should be for the fans. But me myself, I live in Liverpool, and I hate the Prem. I think it's boring. It's not my type of football. Like
It's overhyped. Like to be
it's
honest with
very
you,
overhyped.
the only thing I like watching about the Premier League at all is actually watching Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville on YouTube. I don't like watching the matches. I can't stand watching the matches
Yeah,
anymore.
the punditry is more
Like
exciting than the actual
like you
matches.
got Man City and Liverpool on the weekend for basically the titles out of, and there's not a hope of me watching that. I'd be more focused on actually watching Rangers and St Mirren weekend. To focus on those for let's see them drop points. So it means
Yeah,
that we have to maintain the 9 points. But we have a massive game on Saturday. Will Kyogo be back?
yeah. I think
Will he?
he'll
Do
play.
you think he'll start?
Don't think he'll start. No, I think he'll be on the bench, but he'll come on.
And Bogdan, what do you think of you've seen of Celtic this season? Are you impressed with Kyogo?
Well, I've seen him playing in 2 matches. The two he played against us.
Yeah.
So he scored. I don't. Who were the 2 goal scorers away? I don't remember. Celtic. I mean, away for
Abada,
me.
There's Jota,
Abada.
Abada, and Kyogo. Yeah.
Yeah, that was here. I mean, that was at home for me and away for
The
you. I
dark
remember
green.
that because I've
Oh,
been there. Yeah,
for those it was Kyogo and Turnbull.
Kyogo, Jota, Abada. But I'm asking about the 2-0 match. I know McGregor missed the pen, but perhaps was there a Kyogo goal as well?
Kyogo goal and Turnbull scored as well.
So I've seen him playing those two. Yeah, Turnbull, right? So I've seen him playing those two. Obviously, after he got injured, and I wasn't watching Celtic games before. I've been over in February. Afterwards, I've been watching them, and if I can watch them live, I watch the highlights at least of every match. But he wasn't playing anymore because he has a long-standing injury now. We got some other Japanese in the squad, but Kyogo is just something else. He is just a level above them. I mean, Hatate can be compared to him, but it's obviously a different position. But what I've seen of Kyogo, he's an absolute crucial player for Celtic, and I hope for him to be. I mean, I agree that he's going to be on the bench, but especially for the last part of the season, the finish, and then the Champions League, he will be immensely important.
He's too big. He's too big of a player.
Here's a question for you: do you think Kyogo has in the tank to score in the Champions League against these big things? big
100%,
teams.
100%. I think you look at.
Gonna say
I
Dembele, aren't
think
you?
some of his best performances have come in Europe. I think, but his movements world class. He could be at a Premier League club, in my opinion. It's just I think people overlook the like Asian leagues, don't they? Because they don't think they always have. But Ange obviously knows something we don't, and he's proven it with the signings. Like he was saying, he was looking at Iran as well, wasn't he, to sign players as well?
Yeah, they were close to signing that Iranian guy that was actually playing in
Yeah.
Qatar.
But
That was a
Kyogo will
close thing.
be important in Champions League games, especially because I really feel like we'll be sitting back defending, and he's so good on the break on counter attack, and we transition so quickly, and he's so important to that.
Do you know what's crazy, Shay? When you're talking about Champions League, I know that we still have 6 games to contest to win this title. We have to win 4 of the last 6
Yeah,
to be champions. Imagine these crop of players that have never played Champions League football. They hear that Champions League music on Celtic Park in the European night. You know yourself. It's just there's no better feeling.
there isn't even I've been to games where we've been battered as well, so there's still no better feeling. It's just I
The
think it's just
last Champions League game I was at, we were going back to Celtic and Barcelona. This is not the 2012. This is well before that. It was 2008. Messi scored twice. Henri scored against us, and we were two one up at half time. Jan Vennegar, Hesselink, and Barry Robson with 2 headers. Two of them with the 2 headers. That's how like now I've been to Europa League games since I've been to the Ren game a couple of seasons back, and I've been to Fenerbahce. You were to Fenerbahce, and then I was at the Bodo Glimt game as well. So it's just you know yourself. There's no place in Europe that can beat a Champions League night at Celtic Park. I know they say Dortmund, they say Anfield, they say these type of places, but no. You've seen the likes of Owen Hargraves, even Sleepy G even said it. There's no better place.
there's no comparison. There really isn't. There's like but you can say that every stadium's got their own unique atmosphere. So you go to Dortmund, you go to Anfield, they're all different atmospheres. So to their fans and to some people that might be the best atmosphere. But like me myself, I've been like BOTOND as well. He's been to so many games across
Yeah,
Europe.
boy. I have people that come up to me, they're not even Celtic fans, they're Liverpool and Man United fans in Dublin, and they always bring up the Barcelona result in the first few conversations. It's always brought up. They bring it up. And I don't know if you get that as well in Liverpool when they mention the whole Barcelona result. Oh, why were you in for the Barcelona game? Were you at it? What did you think of
Yeah,
them beating Barcelona? I'm like, that's 10 years ago in November.
yeah. I think the big thing about it though was Barcelona had literally the best team probably of the century at the time, and we were just this outfit from Scotland that everyone knows who Celtic are, but I doubt anyone even knew the players that we had. Like in that game, some of the players we had were not even like good
Scott
players.
Brown wasn't even playing.
Scott Brown wasn't playing. We had Miku up front who scored like one goal that season. We
I
had
follow him on Instagram.
we had Calvin Wilson at the back with Effie Ambrose as well. And
Mm.
it's just I think what it was is just how we won the game. Like we went 2-0 up. Like no one ever thought that. But
Oh, it just gives me the shivers even talking about it, man.
that's Champions League football. Though. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. You saw it as well
You
with
see with Sheriff.
Sheriff FC. Yeah, when they beat Real Madrid. Like anything can happen, and that's the best thing about Champions League. Like no matter what, Celtic fans will go up, go away, go home, and they won't care about the result. They're just there just to enjoy the atmosphere, watch the team play. As long as the team performs and gives it their all, Celtic fans aren't bad. Me myself, I'm not bothered if we lose or win. As long as they went out there and they can say they put the effort in,
I think
then
we have
I'll
a
happy with
we
that.
have a manager now like that has said it. Like you can look back to and Bogdan, you look back to Celtic and Bayern Leverkusen. Even though Celtic lost 4-0 that night at Celtic Park, they pulled off a great performance. The amount of chances they had, and then they lost away to Leverkusen, which Shea was there. Shea, you don't
I
have
was
to remind
there.
us.
I was
Shea was
there.
there. Shea, like you could see it that Ange has changed his club around. Go ahead, Bogdan.
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought that you were asking Shay still because he was there at the away match, Leverkusen, where
That's all
Celtic
good
led
after
1-2
this.
as well. I was. Weren't you there?
I was there. Yeah, I was at the away game. Yeah,
Right.
I was at both. I was
So
at both.
He,
I
he
was at
went
home.
he went there about 4 days before even the game kicked off just to have a
Yeah.
session.
Literally.
wow, yeah, that's such a great thing to hear that people are so much into this wonderful club. And there was a question about what I think about Ange transforming this club, right?
Mhm.
Well, you got him in last summer after this disappointing season where you had Steven Gerrard at the other end of Glasgow, and they pulled up a strong performance certainly, and then we got him who just gave character to the team and who is caring about the fans. I mean, just going there after the players and celebrating and appreciating that just mind-blowing support is such a great thing to do because it shows the team spirit and shows the community spirit, what a club like Celtic deserves. And it don't deserve things like what happened in last season. Ange brought that spirit back, which Celtic deserves, and it's even a bigger thing winning the league when Rangers is such a strong side. So absolutely a big transformation, and he was also clever, I'd say, because you were in Conference League. That there was obviously a disappointing performance against Bodo Glimt, and especially like if you could have beaten Leverkusen, it would have been great. But he was clear with his goals and what he wanted to achieve in this season, and he knows perfectly that you're going to be back in the Champions League if you win this league, and even if it wasn't sure before this war, Russia against Ukraine, which sadly happened. I mean, it wasn't sure before that, but you would have been in a great position because of the coefficient anyway. So
10th in the
yeah.
coefficient, yes.
So he just knew that like you have to let go of Conference League because the domestic results are even more important for Celtic fans, and they are also which are key, the only way to get into Europe. And he was so clever, and I was really disappointed when Celtic got knocked out by Bodo Glimt. But then I realized that you couldn't win everything. It's just
True.
just a lot because you have two domestic cup competitions and you have the league where you have 38 games, just like the Premier League, and you were in a championship round, you are playing all the big teams. And the main thing that you even win the hard matches, and one thing that a football fan has to understand that, well, I've grown up as a Barcelona fan, except like outside my local interest, which
You
is
do look like
Ferencváros.
Ter Stegen a little bit.
Yeah. Obviously, he's a legend at ours. He stayed and he's been here for so many years. Anyway, so it's like never when I grew up that like natural 4-year results in the league, and after I just got it that you have to appreciate even the small wins because the 3 points matter only, and it doesn't matter if you win by one goal because you have harder periods at a team like Celtic had, for example, against Dundee FC, but you still won 3-2, and doesn't matter that it's the last place team because you got the 3 points in the end, and Rangers didn't get closer, and that's the main thing that somehow you have to get the victory. So I think Ange has brought that key difference that if Celtic isn't in a perfect form, they still win. Even if by one goal, they still win, and that's the most important thing. So, so that's my opinion about Ange, and you can just see that he has so much character. I mean, ever like talks. I've been to another. I took part on another podcast, which was the Celtic State of Mind, and they asked me about Giacomakis and his interviews, his kind of overconfident interviews, which got different responses amongst fans. So it's great to have players having the self-confidence. But the most important thing is that how the coach reacts. And you could see when they posed him the question, "Oh, you got Rangers in the semi-final," and he reacted like, "Yeah, okay." So I mean, that's what you need. That's why it's nothing special. You just have to be. I mean, that was such that's an excellent thing, and it's no surprise that you have now a new chant. It's the form we have found since Ange has been around. So the absolute character and the difference that somehow he won the games. I can just repeat myself from now on. So that's what I think about him.
Isn't he box office shy like media on the sidelines after the game? He's just something that I'd never thought we'd get at the club from an outside perspective from the other side of the world.
I think
He's unbelievable.
when he first came in, I think a lot of people had the doubts because no one had ever really heard of him. I mean, I heard of him only because of the World Cup, and I never knew anything other than when he was at Australia. But whenever we first got linked, I was like, I don't know what to think. And then when you look into him, you realise he's everywhere he's went, he's won. Like it's and I think Celtic needed that sort of manager, like someone who knows how to win. And like Bolton said, like talking about like when we're not in form, we still win, and that was the difference last year. Like last year when we weren't in form, we dropped 2 points or 3 points, like a 1-0 loss or like a 1-all draw or something. And he's changed that in the space of a season, which is amazing to see. And like you said as well, Keith, like, it's not just the performances and him as a manager, him in like in press conference and all that, that the fans have just got on board with him
You're
because
just on
because of how
on a Friday
charismatic he is.
afternoon. Get asked the same questions, and the comebacks like this whole mate thing is
He's so
just
witty, yeah. He knows how to get fans on side, and that was the big thing this year. Like even if we didn't win the league, as long as the fans were back on side with the team and with the manager, that was the big thing. But he'd done that in the space of like a couple of months, which I never thought would have been possible. I thought it'd be like around Christmas we'd start seeing the team start to play his style, but the team implemented his style in the first few weeks. It was just that
it was the Aberdeen game, wasn't it?
we didn't have the signings to do it at that minute. But I've seen in the comments as well people talking about CCV and Jota and stuff like they were all deadline day signings. We signed CCV, Giakoumakis, and Jota on
We
deadline
signed on
day.
the day. We signed on the day
Deadline
after we
day.
got beaten at Ibrox.
Exactly. Like I think to and I think to myself, if we didn't do that bit of business, it might have been a different season. Because like Carter Vickers has been my player of the season, and he's been a rock at the back. And Giakoumakis, I know he had his problems at the start with injuries and stuff, but he's come on as well. He's not like a classy, you know, technical striker. He's just a machine up front that's going to throw his body about, and he's a great finisher, and that's what we've missed a little bit as well. But Ange, if he wins the treble in his first season, that's I never thought that would have been possible.
SHEA, taking the title back alone would have been one of the best seasons for me. To
Yeah,
do the treble, I'm putting it. I'm saying it right now. I know we haven't played them in the semi final, or we're not even yet hand them bound. Even if we get to the final, and if we were to pull off this, I think it would be one of the biggest miracles in football history.
I think with Ange as well, he's not even thinking about
I
the
just
semi
think it
final.
would be
He's thinking
because
about St Johnson, and
he came.
that's how what he's like.
He
Like
openly
he's
came out and
the
said it
semi
on. He was interviewed by a couple of Australian podcasts, and he said, the team that I've taken over from Neil Lennon are a broken team. They're still haunted from the failures of last season. For him
Yeah,
to give Callum the captaincy, which to be honest with you, I was surprised, but we all knew that he was going to get the captaincy. Callum has changed. My whole concept of Callum McGregor as a person, phenomenal footballer. I always thought he was being a phenomenal footballer. I doubted him taking the captaincy, and look what he has brought.
he could be one of the best captains we've had. For I know Brown was an amazing captain, but
Yeah, but if he could take over from he's after taking over from Scott Brown, which had a 14-year legacy at the club,
yeah,
and for his 4th season being a captain and win a treble, fuck me, that is a different legacy.
yeah, it is. First season as a captain and you win a treble, you lift 3 trophies would be
And plus, you're
unbelievable.
leading your team into European football as well. People
Yeah,
need to look. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but the
yeah, of
more
course.
games are played, as Bogdan said, regardless if it's Dundee, you're getting the 3 points. It's a win. It's a fucking win, and it's
Like
good going.
you look at the derby on Sunday. Like we went 1-0 down, and he dragged that whole team to an equaliser. Like without him driving forward and setting up the first goal, we would not like that. That's what a captain does. He leads by example. And Brown was one of them where like he'd throw his body about and let people know he's there and let the team know that like having a fight. But Callum's a different type of captain where he'll lead with his performances. And even I've seen like interviews with players and that, and they'll all say he's the best trainer at the club, and that's what he does. He leads by example, and that's what we want. And Ange knows this, and I'm just buzzing. I just all season I've just it's been one of the best seasons I've watched as a Celtic fan for a long time.
Is it better than the Invincible season so far?
Yeah, it is.
I think it is. I think it is because I think I'm feeling the extra love of Ange and the likes of
Yeah.
Kyogo and all. There you go. BOTOND.
You can't pronounce
BOTOND. You're not Adam Bogdan, the
Yeah,
Hungarian
but
keeper.
he's our second keeper actually. But you remember him because he played for
He played
Hibs.
for Liverpool and
But
Hibs
yeah, and Liverpool as well.
and Bolton
Obviously you don't
Wanderers.
have the Bolton and Wigan as well. Now he plays for a second keeper of Ferencváros, but he wasn't the best at Liverpool, and SHEA can remember that. I think like conceded directly from a corner against Exeter City in the FA Cup. I think that's everything people remember of him.
Do you,
But
do,
he used
do
to
you
be a
get
great.
many? Do you get many redhead Hungarian men? Do you? That's I couldn't believe he was Hungarian. I was like, woof.
He does look
Well,
Irish, doesn't he?
there are not so many. Most of them are like
I thought he was Ed Sheeran's brother or something.
not so many. It's a curiosity here. Like
Here's a curious question for you: is there any player in the Hungarian league that Celtic should look on the radar for?
You won't say that. You got all the
Well,
losers got talent.
yeah,
Be honest.
because they play for us mostly for Ferencváros because we have by far the biggest market value squad in the league. But we are still struggling this season, especially against the second and third team, which used to they used to be like more bottom teams, but they're having a good season now. Well, we have a few talents. There is I mean, I think you don't have issues on the keeper position, but there is
No,
a
Big
great
Joe Hart. Big Joe
yeah,
Hart. We're happy
exactly.
now.
Otherwise, I could mention the players of Ferencváros, but well, we need them. So
I hope these are not players that haunted Celtic 2 seasons ago, are they?
yeah, yeah.
That made,
Two. That one of them is injured now, but the guy who scored the second goal, who just ran on the left wing, obviously was a goalkeeper mistake as well. But I mean, we would have got another result if it would have been a full Celtic Park as it was in October. I think that's when when the first match was. So I was like jumping. I was so happy about beating such a great historical club as Celtic. It meant me a lot. I know it's a different thing because we both support Celtic. I
viewers are
support
gone
Celtic.
down.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say goodbye, guys. No, but that meant I mean we had an excellent journey to the Champions League. That's the last thing when I talk about Ferencváros, and we can get back about what this podcast is actually about. But we got like Ludogorets from Bulgaria in the first round, Celtic in the second round. It was Dinamo Zagreb in the third round, and we got beaten by Dinamo Zagreb in a 5-1 aggregate 1 year before. But since we had only one of occasion matches because of the COVID, and then we managed to beat them at home 2-1, and then we had Molde from Norway, and we beat them on
Solskjaer's previous team. Celtic played
exactly.
Molde a couple of years back in the Europa League. I think we drew 2-2 against them away. Shay, Chris Commons scored that night. We had them in the same group as Ajax, and who else did we have? It was the season that Malmo beat us in the playoff round to get into the Champions League. So we went into Europa League. We got Ajax. We drew 2-2 to Ajax away. Lustig and
Yeah,
BOTOND scored.
I was at the home game.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
we got beat
Callum,
2-1.
Callum McGregor scored that night, didn't he?
I can't remember.
I think
I
Callum scored that night, yeah. And Scott Allen was playing.
what's
Scott,
there's a throwback.
that's, that was a disaster of a sign. Look, Scott Allen had quality, but he just couldn't. I just think we just bought him for the sake of taking off Rangers radar.
Yeah, I think yeah, but it, he's doing well at Hibs. Well, he was. He's on the bench now at Hibs,
Did
but
he got his heart condition thing?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a heart condition, hasn't he? So it's a sad news to
Let's
find out.
talk.
Like,
Let's talk about, like, I know this is a Celtic podcast, but I want to bring this up. What a week for Christian Eriksen.
oh, 100%, 100%. That man is he's an inspiration to a lot of people.
He is.
After what he's been through, it's like to come back from what happened to him and to play Premier League football
He
is.
scored against Chelsea the weekend.
I know. I honestly, I never thought. I thought he might go back home to Denmark and play, but wow, I know it was madness. I highlights myself, and I was buzzing. I was so happy. Obviously, Chris Ayer as well, who's at Brentford, was playing, and I thought he would have probably went back to Denmark and played, and something like
He was
that.
training with Ajax for a few months, and
Yeah.
then Brentford. Thomas Frank, a man that I wanted to once take the Celtic job, maybe in the future. Like Christian Eriksen scoring against Holland away, then scoring then as well on his home debut for Denmark. Unbelievable. What a story. What a story. I hope that Denmark do well in the World Cup as much as they broke Irish hearts plenty of times.
Yeah, I think they will. I think, I don't even want to get started on the World Cup.
I don't know why people keep asking about Fraser Foster on this channel, folks. Someone said the other day, would you not take Fraser back as a number 2?
I
Same
think
age as Joe Hart.
he was saying
No.
on Sky Sports that he still watches the matches. I think that's what Boys and Green saying. But yeah,
Joe Hart, what's your opinion on Joe Hart, Shay?
he's another one that obviously Ange has brought in and knows exactly what he's getting. That's the thing. Every sign he's brought in, he knows what he's getting, and he said himself. I remember him saying it earlier on the season that he wants leaders in there, and who better to bring in than Joe Hart? He's been there and done everything. Like he's been to World Cups, he's been to Champions League games, won the Premier League, and that experience is vital. Considering we lost a lot of players in the summer, well, a lot of starting 11 in the summer, you needed to bring in a player like him. But can't fault Ange at all. I'm just buzzing. I'm still happy from Sunday.
Big time. So I'm just gonna call it HFV. I'm not gonna even try pronounce your name because every time I say your name,
It's not
No, it was all right. As long as people don't write it down, I understand what I mean. Yeah,
BOTOND.
yeah,
BOTOND.
perfect, perfect. That's
BOTOND.
perfect.
James BOTOND.
But you can call me HFP as well because that's how the world knows me, you know. but BOTOND is a bit more like personal.
BOTOND. Perfect. I'll get there. It'll take time, folks. It'll take time, you know. But it definitely will. So when do you think you're coming back to Scotland? Are you gonna do a League of Ireland game?
What kind of game? Sorry.
League of Ireland. Are you gonna do a League of Ireland match? Maybe
League of Ireland. Well, you mean like
Shamrock Rovers,
Shamrock,
Bohemians.
Dublin Derby, Bohemians, Derry City, and so on. Well, there's someone who contacted me to Derry actually. I think I will do. I'm not sure. I think in the autumn or next year. But the first thing I'm gonna try to be back at Celtic and in Glasgow, and it looks like that it might be really soon. To be honest.
Have you been to a Rangers game, Bolton?
Rangers match? No, not in Ibrox. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if many people recognize me that it might not be a good idea for me because I made a statement where I stand with Celtic because that was the first team I visited and they treated me so well. Well, I talked to some British guy in Gothenburg because I've been there and he told me that it might not be the best idea to. I mean, I would go to a match to Ibrox to take that stadium off the list as well, like a smaller match against Hearts or Hibs. But if it's the derby, I mean that's not a smaller match, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean that's a good addition to my channel. But the thing is that I never put a scarf around my neck because I won't make a fool of myself. I put a scarf of Celtic at halftime. I was so much impressed. I was like, I was going there to the little shop in the stadium. And I was like, how much is this scarf? It looks so beautiful. And the girl who was there to sell all the merch stuff, she said £10. I was like, crazy. That's so cheap because you get everywhere like tickets for scarves for 20 and 25 euros and like £10. I was like, yeah, okay, that's my thing. It was so beautiful and it just felt right to put that around my neck despite like being beaten twice by Celtic because it's for my team because it's like a different thing. You get different cultures and obviously being a vlogger is about. I mean, I think it's fair for me to say that I can identify myself with one team per country. I think that's pretty fair as long as I visit different countries.
Yeah.
So, but when I come back to Glasgow, my priority won't ever be Ibrox. I mean, if I get the chance to get down there and film at a match, that's great addition to the channel. I can introduce Rangers, but I'm gonna look for Celtic Park every single time. So I hope I answered your questions because I always
Yeah,
tell a
no,
bit
no,
longer
no.
answers.
We'll get you special PPE equipment if you go to Ibrox
I think,
because
I think, I think both on if you do come, I hopefully you do. Maybe go to all the bars and stuff as well, because that's where before I don't know if you did, you probably did. Go to a lot of bars when you come over, but that's where the atmosphere starts generating before the matches and stuff. And
I,
um,
I will try to do that. Didn't
yeah,
have time for it before the last match because I didn't arrive so much
yeah,
before. I mean, I arrived a few hours before, but we with my post we didn't go to pubs before.
yeah.
And I also won't drink before match because I need 100% concentration for filming the vlogs.
You don't have
Afterwards,
to drink. You don't have to drink.
few
editing that's okay. Afterwards,
just
I'm off to some
don't drink
pint.
Buckfast. For the 55 people that are watching this channel now, whoever drinks Buckfast, such a life out.
I
Shay, do
No,
you
drink
it's
drink
book
alright.
fast.
Buckfast?
I drink book fast.
Ah,
That
such a
that's a
life
really
out.
fair point. That's a really fair point because you can capture the atmosphere at pubs before the match. That's really great. Would be a great addition,
Yeah,
and experiencing only for experience as well. Because I'm obviously not there only for my channel, but I'm there for what I love, which is
yeah, of
watching
course.
football. That's an additional thing that I vlog in between. But I always I hold my phone here and I get like the ratio of the zoom and I watch the match with my own eyes. That's a priority for me, not to watch during the phone. But I think
Just get
I'm
one of them
still doing a
straps.
great.
Just go around with one of them straps on, one of them
No, I'm not.
bras with the camera.
I'm not tall enough. I'm not tall enough for that, mate.
Right. Speaking of bottles, I want to talk to you, Shay, about the incident at Ibrox the other day.
Uh,
Disgraceful. What? Like, I know we saying I'm not surprised. We're not surprised, but the manner of it, like, they're
that's
they're stewards. Like, how
that's
did no one cop it?
that's what they like. That's I don't know. No one's surprised by it because that's exactly what they like. Like I know the rivals. Do you hate your rivals and stuff? But what does my head in is that like the bottles that were thrown and one of our staff were hitting the head. That have stitches. There was glass all over the penalty box and. Well, when have you ever seen Celtic fans do that? I know there's obviously a few idiot Celtic fans who threw like bottles and stuff, but the way it was on Sunday was ridiculous. It felt like it was coming from every direction. It wasn't even like a few idiots. It was
You
a lot
seen
of
Jota
people.
taking the corner, and you
Yeah,
seen them.
doctors getting coins and lighters and bottles thrown at him, taking a corner. Like, what's all that about? Like, it's just idiots. That's all it is. And like, there's no room for it. There really isn't.
They should
And
be fined.
but that's the thing. And you look on the media as well in Scotland, and this shows how shit Scottish media is. They'll make it about Celtic every time. They'll try and bring both teams into it. They won't condemn Rangers and Rangers fans. They'll condemn both sets of fans, and it's ridiculous. Like there was like obviously I'm gonna back my own fans and say, listen, that barely happens at Celtic. I'm sure.
None, to be
Both,
honest with you, there was no bad
both,
behaviour out of our fans.
both,
There was 700 of
both,
them.
Bolton went to the derby in February. I don't know. There's a atmosphere. There's a rivalry in there, but like if you went to Ibrox, it's a different story. Like the trouble that gets caused at Ibrox every single time there's a derby match.
Look at the fan. Look at that fan trying to run on to the pitch when
Exactly,
CCB
exactly.
scored.
I know both times you probably missed all that because it wasn't really in the highlights, but there's a lot of camera angles and stuff that showed a lot of bad stuff happening on Sunday. But um, it's one of them, and it's what they're known for. Like you look at when they went to Dortmund as well, away, they destroyed the city. You know what I mean? They went and just absolutely made a mess of the place, and it was even the same. Remember in the UEFA Cup final, came to Manchester. They absolutely destroyed Manchester, and they made a show of themselves. Every single time, every place they go away, they just cause trouble. And they were singing
And they fight with each other as well. That's the weirdest thing about it.
fight with each other. Exactly.
Georgia Square, they win the title and they go off and kill each other in the middle of Georgia Square.
They don't even fight with opposition fans. They fight with each other. I don't understand. But don't get me wrong, though. I know a lot of Rangers fans who are great people and they'll go to the match. Like it's not all of them. But
That's what I said in the channel the other day. I said it's a minority of fans that ruin it for everyone
it
else.
always is. Celtic fans have the same. Celtic fans
Yeah,
have
there
my
is. We have a
dickheads
minority
as
of
well.
fans that are absolute gobshites that shouldn't even be
Every
allowed.
club's gonna have it. Every club's
Mm,
gonna have it.
100%. And you can't change it. It's not even about the colours that they're wearing. It's about the way they were dragged up or raised up, you know? And that's sadly the way it is in football. There's just like You just don't know when to calm down. These are the type of people that stay up for 2 or 3 days on the bender, and when the game happens, they don't give a shit what's going on. They'll throw a bottle. They get the bottle of Bucky in. You seen the picture of all the bottles of Buckfast, the
At
naggins of
the end of the
Buckfast.
match, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting. Do you get that in Hungarian football? Do you?
Well, there is only there are a few fierce rivalries, but there is only one like really big derby which actually gets sold out. You see in Scotland, like Celtic gets Celtic Park sold out so many times, but in Hungary, we at Ferencváros get only one sellout. That's against local rivals Újpest here in Budapest, and there has been quite a lot of trouble, but it's just as you mentioned that a minority of the fans who are then highlighted in the news and are reflected on as the whole like supporters base, which is not is obviously not the case, because you get only like there are like fierce faces who you can't really talk to, and they want to fight whatever there is, whether it's a win, draw, or a loss. But I think it's not quite as big because of the supporters number as Celtic Rangers. But we get these useless fights over here as well. I can't really identify myself with that, because I mean there were some ultras of ours who were from another city rivals, which are currently in the second division, and we played them in the cup. We beat them away 2-0, and they were stealing a transparent like a sign our fans stole, and it literally they put up the way like heads down, they put it up on our next match, and I was like, what the hell? I was ashamed, but that they actually stole that choreo element. And it was, I mean, people who do things like this, they're obviously part of the culture, but they are just not concentrating on football. For me, it was always about football and the action on the pitch, and obviously need to get great atmosphere. But just as you mentioned, the match is over after 90 minutes plus additional time, or if it's like 120 minutes. But it's like you have to get back. You can go crazy during the match, but after it, even if you're very disappointed, you're still like a person who's if you see an other fan with the rival's card from a fan, you would still like shake hands, and that's it, because we are people in the first place, and we won't find useless. But that's like that's the majority's attitude, but it's not what the highlights and articles are written about. Rather, the minority who are going crazy and like venting their frustration only on football matches. That's obviously when you don't have really many things to do in your life. I mean, I don't want to be don't want to judge these people, but it's about getting back to normal. You can be disappointed, but in the end, it's football. In the end, it's you won't celebrate with an away with a rival fan, obviously, but you will. Your attitude towards the person is that it's like a person like you, a person that loves football. So we don't get as many in Hungary, but we still get a few. That's my answer to the question. And these things won't be avoided, I think, because you
That's
always get somebody.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's in every society, regardless where you live or who you are. I always worry about the kids that are being brought to these football games, and they're seeing these sick people throwing bottles and saying horrible things, and you're just embarrassed. Like, you're embarrassed.
But
And these are the type of
you're right. You're so right, Keith. Honestly, because like, one thing as well. How many times do we hear media or Rangers or fans and stuff saying it's a minority at Ibrox that cause trouble? And you look at the when they scored, they started singing the Billy Boys song, and I don't know if you
yeah.
know both of them, but the Billy Boys song is a sectarian song. It's disgusting, and they try and make out if it's a minority of their support that sing it. Every video you look at, it's the whole stadium singing that song, and like they can call us sectarian, but it might be a minority that are in our support, but I don't hear sectarian songs getting sung at Celtic Park. Never heard them.
You're
But
gonna have this argument with some Celtic fans. Their IRA songs or their
it's
diss
not
songs,
sectarian, though.
their
Like,
freedom songs about freedom fighters.
but whether you agree with them songs or not, they're not sectarian. Like,
Mm.
no matter what you hear, they're not sectarian songs. Um, they don't discriminate. They might sing about an organisation which you may or may not agree with. Everyone, people who know me know my point of view on it, but like they're not sectarian. They're not illegal to sing, but Rangers fans are allowed to sing their sectarian songs.
Now look at his comments. Look at Frank. I appreciate you tuning into the channel on a daily basis. You always have comments to say on the channel. I do not agree with you this one. David Turnbull, yes, he was Motherwell captain, but he basically said he's basically not giving the credit to Callum McGregor for this season
Yeah, I mean,
and going into next season. Callum McGregor has been phenomenal. He's been the captain of getting us through these two derby games. He's been captain for helping us accumulate these points, dominating the midfield, providing assists, keeping the temperament, taking that team around a huddle at the end of the game against St. Mirren and bringing them around every game, clapping the fans at full time. These are the type of things people forget about.
yeah, I think you're right, Keith. Sorry, Frank, I do disagree with you, but I think Callum's been amazing all season as a captain. I think I thought, you know what, when he got picked, I wasn't one of them fans who was against it. I thought it was a great person to appoint as captain. I thought, even though last season was an absolute shit show, I thought he was probably one of our better performers, even though everyone was shit anyway. But I just think Callum's been absolutely outstanding since he took the role. He's led by example. He trains. He's the best trainer in the club. He's one of the best players in the club, and he's vocal. Every time I've been to a game, I can hear him. I never thought he was as loud as he is, but I can hear him shout. I can hear him, like I said, leading by example.
Only for Robbo, I'd give him the captaincy for Scotland.
Yeah, him or Tierney, maybe.
Well, Tierney's going to be out for a season because he had to get that injury for Arsenal. Well,
Yeah.
he picked up for Scotland. I want to speak about Tierney actually to the both yes. How much would you put a price tag on Tierney if he was to leave Arsenal to go to Madrid?
50 million. That's what everyone's saying, isn't it?
What about yourself? BOTOND.
What was it me again? Yeah. Perfect.
It's BOTOND?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about before I'm saying it.
Yeah, perfect. Sorry. Yeah. Could you say the question again? Because I wasn't like being my mind like.
Kieran Tierney, former Celtic player, plays for Arsenal. A price tag on Kieran Tierney. He's been linked with a Madrid move.
Real Madrid, yeah. Well, I think what SHEA said, I think that would be a fair price for a player like him. So I agree on that one. He's a right back, right? Isn't he?
Left back. You can play left back and right back and centre back as well for Scotland.
First, did you say 50 million quid?
Yeah.
Well,
he started for 25 off us, and he's already hasn't he been a captain a few times for them?
One of the last games against Watford, he took the captaincy for the whole 12 minutes. But he's captained a couple of times as well, as far as I know, in the League Cup as well. But like the abuse he got for leaving Celtic, there was no need for it. There was no need for it.
Yeah, there wasn't. But I obviously I'll always respect him as a Celtic player and what he achieved. But my disagreement with it is that I love Tierney and I hope he does well at Arsenal or wherever he goes, and he was great at Celtic. But people were calling him a legend, and I can't call someone a legend who's been there for like 3 seasons or 2.5 seasons or whatever, because he missed most of
Icon
seasons with injury, didn't he? So, like, a legend to me is someone who achieves great things in a long period of time, basically, and shows the like Larson, like you never get another. The last one probably Brown, maybe McGregor as well. Forrest could be named as a legend as well. But Tierney was a great player for us, and he was world class for us, and I hope he does well. But I just don't think he's a legend the way some fans label him. But
I'm one of them people that call him a legend because I look from he's at the coming through the youth system at the age of 7 up to the senior. He captained the team. He was part of an invincible team. He was part of a treble team, scoring Champions League goals. That's what I give him the legendary status.
He only played about 103 games or something for us.
Yeah, but he had consistency when he played. When did Tierney have bad games for Celtic? Not many. I think about 5 or 6.
That's what I'm saying. He was a world class player for us, but
Mm.
I don't think it makes him a legend. That's my point. And I wasn't angry when he left. I thought I was made up to get the money because at the time he was injured for like 6 months. So to get 25 million for a player that's not going to play for six
I
months,
was I was annoyed when the force bid went in. I thought it was quite insulting, to be honest with you. The
was it
force
like
bid was
12 million?
12.5, and then the second one was 15, I think.
Yeah,
And then they
there was a lot of bids going around, wasn't there? But yeah, he could have been a legend. Wimmer Tim just said that he could have 100% been a legend. So I think I still think he was a great player for Celtic. He's one of the greatest.
So would you label him as an icon?
Um, no, I just label him as a great Celtic player. Like just a really good player for us. It's like when we had the likes of Canio and who I don't know. I remember they were great players, but they're not legends.
No, like the Kanye wasn't a legend for Celtic. He only had one
I
season.
know, but he was a great player. I hate him as well. Don't get me wrong, I hate Canio as well, but he was a great player. No one can deny he's a great player, but Tierney to me is a great player, but just not a legend. If he stayed, he would have been
Stay until how long?
10.
10. Well, we
He's
didn't do
definitely
10. That's the thing.
I know we didn't, but with him we might have, because
Could have. True.
you know what I mean.
True.
But you don't. Some of the players that we lost, like even Armstrong as well, Dembele, like if we kept all them players at 10, we would have probably done the 10. But I don't want to think about that anymore. But Tierney is a great player for Celtic, but he's not a legend. That's all.
Right. I'll finish off the show in a couple of minutes. I'll give it another 4 minutes, folks. Let these two amazing men go and do their things. They obviously have college work, and BOTOND is.
Yeah. It's perfect every single time. Every
I
three
just
time it was perfect.
you're just gonna be getting random Instagram voice clips off me now saying your name. Look, it's cool. You were at Sweden
Yeah.
the weekend. You're only back from Gothenburg, aren't you?
Yeah, we're there.
You were at Johan Mjalby's team. Was it AIK?
Yeah. Well, I've been to three matches, two in Gothenburg and one in a city, like 1 hour by bus or 40 minutes by bus from Gothenburg. That's called Borås, and that's where EF Elfsborg plays. So I think most people know that team though because it's one of the 6 big teams in Sweden. So yeah, and AIK or AIK they played Celtic several years ago, and that was like an excellent atmosphere. You can see a lot of
We
footage about
absolutely
that.
hammered them away. We did. Now Edward scored again. Edward scored a lovely free kick at Celtic Park against them. That was a couple of days before the derby, SHEA, when we last went.
Yeah.
When we went to Ibrox, when we had the
We won 2-0, didn't
850
we?
fans, 2-0. But unbelievable. I hopefully one day I'll get to. Well, SHEA, more like there's a chance I'm going to meet you anytime soon. Especially you're only literally 25-minute flight away. Baton, you need to come to Dublin for a session. You need to taste the real Guinness where it's at. This is where it's at, Dublin's. But
The most expensive pint you'll ever get as well.
So you live in there. You live in Dublin, Keith, right?
I live in Dublin. That's is why
Okay.
I'm not always at the games.
It's not. Yeah. I understand about because I was wondering about you getting down to matches, but that's really fair. And all the content you share, that's just quality. So I really like listening to them and getting information about Celtic. Main thing that it's not a 25-minute flight for me. A bit more like 3 hours. But I'll try to get down there definitely. Do you have a team in Ireland, by the way?
I don't support any team, but I am going to a League of Ireland match on Friday night. I'm going to see St. Pat's Athletic versus Dundalk because my housemate is a Pats fan. So now
Right.
I did buy the Bob Marley jersey.
Wow.
I bought the new Bohemians Bob Marley jersey. Folks, I don't support the League of Ireland team because I don't want any Celtic fans that are Shamrock Rovers fans say, oh, you support this team. Oh, you support them. I'm not picking a team. I'll go and watch the football. I'm
That's
not
a
picking
fair
a team.
thing. That's a fair thing, Keith. It's you make a Celtic fan only.
That's it. Celtic fan, and that's the way it's going to be, folks. I'll go to Tallaght Stadium. I'll go Richmond. I'll go and see Daily Mount and Tolka, and that's it. That's it. No, I won't pick a team. That's the way it is. The last
Great
time
stuff.
I was at a League of Ireland game, we're going back to Paddy McCourt playing for Derry City, scoring
Wow.
against Shelbourne 2 goals. 2-2. And do you know who else scored in that game, Shay? Wes Houlihan.
Where's Houlihan? Isn't
The
it?
baller. Wes
Ball.
Houlihan.
I was
Still
remember
going.
the assist to Robbie Brady against Italy. Remember the
Oh, chap knocked out Cambridge. Oh, not Cambridge. Knocked out Newcastle with Cambridge in the FA Cup. Oh, unbelievable stuff. So, what team are you putting out against St. John's? Exact same team.
I don't know, because I think Ange might actually change it up a little bit. I think it might actually be the same thing. I thought O'Reilly might come in, but it looks like he's took a knock. He took a knock on Sunday, didn't he? But I think, there's no point dropping anyone. He might bring a Barden in for Maida, because Maida done a lot of running, didn't he, in that game? So he might bring a
Freshen the legs
Barden
up.
in. Yeah, he might bring a Barden in, and but I don't think he'd drop Giakoumakis. I think keep him in the team. But Kyogo will definitely be on the bench, I think.
100%. I hope he is. Just remove this ad. So, BOTOND, Celtic.
Far away from you. So.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah. I just can you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Perfect,
I
said just bad connection because I'm a bit further away, right, in Eastern Europe. So
you're fine. You're fine. Don't be worried.
Yeah, but I'm back now. So yeah, go on, Keith. Sorry for interrupting.
Are you putting out the same starting lineup that Celtic played against Rangers for this game coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, I would rest some key players. It's obviously Celtic got a strong bench now, so that's the main thing, that you can use like many players. If the result isn't going our way, then I'd like it, in addition, those key players who rested, who Ange would rest possibly, I would sub them in for the second half, but I would give some rest to players playing like 40 or 30 minutes rather than the 90, because we got a massive weekend coming up next week. So
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But I'm sorry, folks. I know we have a massive week coming up, but every team, regardless St. Johnson, Dundee, we need to beat them first, and then focus on Rangers. Like as you said, Baton, the bench is strong. You could see Kyogo come back in. You could see Abada playing. You could see him resting Maeda.
I would play Abada. I would play Abada actually, because he can be just as decisive and as Maeda. He's a totally different player, but just as useful. So
maybe just go for like the defensive in it, because he's going to press. He's going to track back. Abada's attacking man. Against St. Johnson, we need to just go at them from the off. Try and kill the game off as early as possible, and then you can start resting players. And I think.
What Maeda reminds me of, Shay, I know you're probably going to laugh this comparison. He reminds you of Durkow. He reminds you of Durkow all day. Workhorse.
Not a bad comparison, to be honest.
He can play up front, but he just plays on the wing and just chases everything down and gets that crucial assist. Durkow all over.
Some of the memes I've saw on Twitter with him, just he's just running, like he doesn't stop, and that's just he's obviously as fit as any, but yeah, he's been a great signing as well. Like even he's not like obviously as clinical as Kyogo or Giakoumakis as a terms of striking, but you can see how vital he is to like the game on Sunday, especially. He's running he's sprinting in the 94th minute.
You've seen the picture. I think you put up the picture as well of the two boys at the end, literally jet lagged.
Collapsed on the floor. Yeah, he ran the heart out. It was a great day on Sunday. Unbelievable.
I'm sure you were singing the other version of Beautiful Sunday in the pub, were you?
There's a lot of versions of a lot of songs, Keith.
Will not be discussed on the channel. But I just want to say a massive thank you to having a Hungarian football vlogger on, the man himself, BOTOND.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Keith. Sorry, yeah, but I wasn't quite alive during the. I mean, you posed like two questions to me, and I didn't realize during this podcast that's why. That's because I'm really tired now after Sweden. Honestly, I filmed like 3 videos in 3 days, and then after
that's all that Kopparberg. You're drinking too much Kopparberg over there. That's what it was.
Well, no. I've tried that earlier, actually in London, because my cousin has a Swedish girlfriend. But now this time I drank only local beer. That was great as well, but only after the match. So main thing, I'm a bit tired now, and I'm presented at school today. Have some tests tomorrow, and then I'm heading to St. Pauli on Friday. So that's why you don't have to say my name 3 times every time. I'll get it once as well. But thanks, Keith, and a great.
You
I wish
don't you don't book it. You Thomas Cook it.
I wish you great practice, right? So anyway,
I'll
thanks a
get
lot for having me on today, and it's these
pleasure.
invitations are a pleasure for me, and all the time present me for Celtic and being able to share my opinions. So keep up the great work, lads, and thanks
You'll
again
always
for
be
the
welcome back
invitation.
at Celtic Park with the feedback we've seen on this tonight. A lot of
Yeah,
Celtic fans are a big fan of you.
you're
So
more than welcome back anytime. Anytime.
we're a club
Uh,
open to all. We don't smash glass bottles on pitches.
that's the main thing, because that's really like beyond reach. That's not about football, and when it gets like, physical injuries, literally, that's something which should be avoided definitely, and that's part of the reason, or that's actually 100% of the reason why in many stadiums there are like nets in front of the stands. Luckily not the case in Celtic Park, and because of this, it gives you a different experience. But actually, some supporters can't behave. You can't change that. But Celtic Park was an excellent experience for me, and at least once. But I'd be happy if I could be back twice in Glasgow before the season. So I'll let you know definitely, and thanks once
That's
more, Keith.
I'm hoping the
Have a
same
good
as well.
week. Have a good weekend in Germany as well.
Thank you so much.
Tell the people in Hamburg that you know SHEA, and they'll probably give you a free drink.
Great.
But
Sure.
we'll let you off. What a legend! What a legend of a man to have
What a
on.
man! What a man!
What
I
a
watched first time I knew him. I watched the Ferenc Savas vlog he done away from home. He's doing an excellent job this season, and he's grew his channel a lot.
That's what I like about him. He's just different. He goes to all these games and he's brutally honest, and his English is fantastic. The guy
Yeah,
is the guy is such a humble lad. Like I was talking to him on Instagram live the other night with Football Mad Max. That's a
yeah.
big Celtic fan, and the laugh we had was just he just gets it. He gets Irish people. He gets Scottish people. He gets Scouse people now as well, even though it's
I
a
don't know if
tough
you understood
accent.
most of what I was saying, like, but
Well, I'm sure there'll be subtitles after the video you can go back and look at. But
the
now,
subtitles would be wrong.
so you think we're gonna do by 10 points as well? I said 10 points the other night
I
as well.
think I just think I don't think we'll drop points. I think we'll beat them at home as well. And yeah, I can't see us losing against anyone. I can't see us dropping any points, and I do think we'll beat them at home as well. So it'll be, I reckon it'll be 9 points, but it'll be 10 because of the goal difference. You know what I mean? So
I think with the split, the way it's gonna work out, if they drop points, right? If they drop points to Saint Mirren and we get them the second split fixture, I think we're gonna win the league against them.
well, they've got to go away to Braga tomorrow. Then we put the pressure on them with 9 points on Saturday, and then
Morelos out as well.
we're all south. You know what I mean? But you know what? It's one of them. You look back on last season, and they were never that good. We were just really, really bad last year.
I think it was down to them not having fans in. They're putting the pressure because they think about it. They were they were they were there to stop us, right? I
Yeah,
think if they were down and the fans were in, the pressure would have been like, oh, we need to stop Celtic. We need to stop Celtic. Yes, they did stop us because he had no fans and we were utterly shy. Every week it was just a different bleeding soap opera about Celtic. It was
yeah.
embarrassing. It was embarrassing, and it was a horrible season. But look, I look back at last season, saying this time last season, fuck me, John Kennedy was in charge and
I
we
think
weren't
you know
going
what
up.
though. Like I know everyone wanted the 10, um, but I think oh, you kicked them out, Keith, your ass.
I didn't kick him out. I muted him because
No,
I didn't
kicked
kick
him
him out. Baton, I'm sorry.
out.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're more welcome to go back. He's gonna kill me. But as you're saying, this time last season we were in a bad place, man.
You know what it was. I think last year I know everyone's 10, but if that didn't happen, we wouldn't have got Ange, would we? So um, yeah, I just think every cloud, as they say. But
Do you think?
can't believe he kicked him out, Keith. That's
I
all.
didn't kick him out. His time was done. He nailed the
That
show.
fuck off in a bit.
He nailed the show. I'm never gonna hear the end of this now. I kicked him out. I was cyberbullying him. I was doing this to him. The chap's a legend. He's an absolute legend of a
I
guy.
know, but sons, I know it was a joke. I'm just
He's gonna be welcome in the Liffey bar anyway if you ever go to Liverpool or Fitzgerald's.
sadly the Liffey's closed now, innit? That's it. Yeah, we're not getting onto that subject.
Just here's a random one for you, Shay. We might be going back to colours next season. What do you think?
To where,
Yeah,
sorry,
we might be going back to a home jersey with colours next season.
I'd love if it's like if it's like the '90s ones. I'd love that.
Like
Because
the
last one was the one with the
green on it.
It had the white. It was white there, wasn't it? The one when we beat Lazio in.
Yeah,
That was the last
the green collar with the white.
Colour,
See,
yeah.
most of these kit manufacturers, like we had Nike and they done the brownie one, you know, the white collar,
Oh yeah.
and then Umbro we had many because we were with Umbro for nearly 30 odd years. We had the 2005 one with the black in it, the Omri camera, the Craig Bellamy. Oh, Bellamy, what a player! What a player! There's one that we should have signed.
Bit of a cunt though, isn't he?
Look at that goal. That whole John Arisa thing was just unbelievable. Bellamy is just, stubborn. That's the way to be,
Yeah.
Now I thought he was a good player for Celtic when he
He
came up.
was. He was here. How long was he here? 6 months, was it?
6 months. Soon as hated him at Newcastle and he went on loan. That hat trick against Dundee United as well. Unbelievable. But I think I look at Frank is a big follower of the page, but as I said, Frank, I can't believe you're not rating Callum McGregor as a captain. That is I don't know if that's just laughable material or we're all entitled to opinion, but I think it's going to be 9 points the weekend, and I think they're going to pressures on them coming back from Braga, as Shea says, and points. If they drop more points, you might as well just get the champagne out with this, right?
You know what the worst thing to be as well? Well, not the worst thing, but
They have to go to Tynecastle. They have to go to Easter Road and the Tony Mac.
If they win the Europa League, though, we'll never hear the end of it. We'll never hear the end of it. I just hope that I really hope that they fuck up tomorrow or next week. I hope they win nothing. That's what I hope.
See when we officially win the league, I am gonna go live on TikTok. I'm gonna unblock every single Rangers fan I have blocked. There's about 5,000 of them, and I'm just gonna keep thumping, It's gonna keep thumping, live it up, and beautiful Sunday all day. And Queen, we are the champions. I'm gonna play everything. Just really, just enjoy it. And say, you know what? Last season was bad, but this season we've won a League Cup. We beat you twice, perhaps 3 times. And yous are back in the mud. Yous are back in the mud where yous want to be. And you know what? Yous never done. Come back when yous actually done 12 in a row. When yous actually won quadruple trebles, and then we'll talk.
That's what I mean. Like, you know what? Everyone still goes on about that they went unbeaten last year, but
losing's horrible. Losing's horrible.
We went unbeaten and fucking won the treble.
That's it. We got beaten by Hearts back in that season when they hammered us 4-0 at Tynecastle. Rogers, the team, got in the huddle and said, look, this is the start of fucking something. We went 69 games unbeaten. Let's keep this momentum going. It's only one defeat. We went on to win the treble. And then we went on to win another treble. And then we went on to win another treble. And where were they? Sitting in the cave crying.
That you know what as well? Like, they're skint as well. Yeah, that's another thing.
I'm hearing that they have 110 million in debts. And did you see the picture of them selling their fucking jerseys in a van outside the stadium?
I saw pictures of them fucking handing out the old firm flags. Did you see that? It's fucking hilarious. Imagine as well. I've never seen a club want to be part of Celtic so much in my whole life. Honestly, they jumped. You know what as well? If there wasn't that fan backlash for the Sydney Cup as well, they jumped on that opportunity to jump.
Fucking sure, right? They jumped at it. They needed the 3 million quid.
They jumped on it because the money was there. That's the way they done it. And then fan backlash. The fans are pretty stupid, to be honest, because if they knew he was that skint, like they should. What 8 day tournament? We're getting about 9 million or something for
I'm
that.
finding the fucking gas shade that they're still rating Kent and Morelos to be sell for big fees in the summer. I fucking think it's bizarre.
Ken
More-
Ken Ken won't go for the big fee.
I think they're gonna get Kent sell Kent for about 8 million max, right?
I reckon it'll be 10. I reckon it'll be 10, mate.
And Morelos, they'd be lucky to get 8 million for him as well.
Isn't he out of contract next year as well?
I think he's 1 year left in his contract. I actually thought. No, look, we're not here to talk about them. It just shows how of a shit pot they're going into.
They needed to win this league more than we did this year. They
Exactly.
really did. They needed to win this league more than we did. And like the fact that we're so close to, we got both hands on the trophy. All we need to do is just
I don't want that trophy back, by the way. I want a new trophy. It's contaminated.
just keep our heads down and just next game, like to focus on the next game. But yeah, I just think
I think that's the way the mentality has to be. As much as I've been saying this since October on the channel, just take every game as a cup final. Stop getting ahead of ourselves. And I think as fans, and Ange said it in the press conference, as fans, we're right to get emotional. We've been through the pain. Celtic is built on success and passion. You know, there's no such thing as second best in Glasgow. We want that fucking trophy back. And by beating them in their backyard on Sunday, gave a prime example. It was one of the best defensive performances I've ever seen of Celtic.
It's the best of the season by a mile.
I don't think like I put this up the other day on the channel on the page. I said, is that the best away victory this season? And people were saying, no, Keith, it wasn't. The Ross County was the game changer. The Aberdeen was the game changer. And I think, to be honest with you, right, I think they were the game changers. The Livy game as well.
I think as well, you look at the league table as well, you look at all them teams who have tried to fight for 6th and 5th and 4th. The point difference is so close. So all them teams have been hard games for us because they're all fighting for something. So like this season, we were never going to batter teams 4 or 5-0 every week. It was never going to happen. So them games were like Aberdeen winning 2-1 and like Dundee winning 3-2, and like they were so close. They were close games. Like the days of us battering people are well over now, and because all the teams are just absolutely improving every year. But I saw that.
More Mickey's than Walt Disney.
So, I saw that she's been rogered more times than a police radio. She's.
I just gonna say, folks, put the name backwards. Look at it backwards and what it makes out to be. I'm just gonna say it now.
Well, I saw that.
Oh God, stop.
She's not a fucking Rangers fan. That's the thing. She's just doing it for the money. That's all she's doing it for. Like, have you heard the accent as well?
Mm.
It's the weirdest accent I've ever heard in my life. She's fucking 1 minute she's London, and then next minute she's fucking Glasgow. I've never seen it. And Rangers fans fucking love her. They're fucking disgrace. Imagine us fucking playing.
Did you? I seen the video going around TikTok for recording, and then all of them are moping at like. Urgh!
Honestly, she's supposed to see that fucking sexy ass every time she goes to a match. Ridiculous. All the videos that we saw last year when they won the league and actually getting licked out on a pool table.
You stop on this podcast. That's enough for that. Jesus Christ, she'll be coming down to Liverpool to watch one of your gigs at this rate.
She'll get a fucking slap.
The Will Smith. So, right, I have the long sleeve jersey, the home jersey, and I'm getting Ange, I'm getting Postecoglou on the back of it. If we win the league and we already won the League Cup, I'm getting number 2. If we do the treble, I'm getting number 3. Oh yeah.
I reckon we just go for it now. Keith and have a bit of faith.
Should I just get a Shagger Postecoglou, will I?
Let's get that. But,
Shagger Postecoglou, what a man. It's just like that's what I'm saying to the lads I live with. I was like, lads, I just love this this guy. I absolutely slandered this lad. I goes, every time I see him on the telly, he just makes me smile. He just makes me smile. You just see him with this passion or this like stuff going on. I'm just like, he's like a fucking Hulk Hogan of Celtic.
Honestly.
The club have to back him. I don't think he's gonna go anywhere, but I am worried. Like I am worried that you're gonna get these. Mark, this is a hard one to say, Shay.
Yeah.
If Eddie Howe gets a sack from Newcastle, I think Newcastle are gonna be knocking at the door for him.
You'll get a sack. I think Eddie Howe's going to get given the summer as well. So,
Well, look
honestly,
at the best thing that ever happened to Celtic.
I really do think that, like, no matter what, he's staying. I just think, why would you leave a project that you've built over a year? You know what I mean?
And you know what? Do you know my insurance on it as well is because he's at the traveling on the other side of the world, bringing his kids. They're starting to enjoy the culture. He's mentioned him and his wife like going trips out to Loch Lomond and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Do you know who else would be in his ear to tell him not to go?
Yeah.
Big Shagger Kennedy. Big Shagger Kennedy didn't bail on Celtic.
I know.
John
You know
Kennedy.
what? I will. Loads of fans give Kennedy grief last year, and I don't know why. Because, like, everyone's.
I did.
I never. I look at every single time, bloody every player that's worked with him has said he's one of the best coaches they've ever worked with. Brendan Rodgers said that he's one of the
Damien
best.
Duff.
Worked with. Damien Duff said that.
Scott Brown.
Tierney. All these players said he's one of the best coaches that they've ever worked with. Everyone's saying he's a defensive coach. He's not a defensive coach. He's an assistant manager. That's what he is.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, me personally, Kennedy is. Like, Ange obviously sees something as well, especially in Gavin Strachan as well.
Strachan's getting a new deal. He's in his last year.
I think Ange said in one of his Australian interviews as well.
This is getting a new deal as well. This is.
I think Ange said in one of his Australian interviews as well that, like, like, when he comes into a club, everyone's got to be on board, and everyone's got to be on board with his vision and stuff. If they're not, then they'll be out the door, basically.
But he's not a bullshitter. He's not the typical manager. Like, I've always wanted him.
These coaches have obviously took on board everything he's saying, haven't he? And he obviously likes working with them. But I just think, that man, he's come in on his own, moved halfway across the world with his family, and done what he's done is some achievement. Some achievement, honestly. And the team he's building as well is a special one. It really is. If we better sign fucking CCV and draft in the summer.
I'll be honest with you now. Like, if you said to me before Christmas, if we don't sign Jota in the summer, would you be pissed off? I would be pissed off, but I wouldn't be that disappointed if you don't get Jota. I'd be really pissed off if we don't get Carter Vickers. Really pissed off.
What? I saw it as well and on Twitter and stuff that his camp is saying that he wants to stay. They're saying that, like, he doesn't want to go back to Spurs. He wants to stay at Celtic. So it's down to Celtic to put the money forward and a good contract to him because.
I'm getting laughed at when I'm talking about 10 million here, but look, it's the English Premier League. They will boast money.
We've got an agreement for 6 million, haven't we? I think
we have an agreement, but they're looking at add-ons as well because of European performances.
I don't think you can do that though, can they? I think if you sign a loan agreement, it's done, isn't it? They can't add and stuff. I don't know. I'm not.
Look, he was born to be a boy. He was wearing the green and white at Catholic United early days, right? He's coming up. He's staying here in the permanent. Everybody was crying for Paddy Roberts. Holy fuck, Carter Vickers is more valuable than fucking Paddy Roberts.
Jota's more valuable than Paddy. Like, as well. I think the best thing we've done as well to sign these players is win the league because you've got the promise of Champions League football next year. Why would CCV and Jota go back to their own clubs to sit on a bench or get loaned out to another club?
Benfica. You seen obviously the Pool played Benfica last night. There's no way Jota was getting in that team.
Jota's not getting that team. He knows that. I think he knows that himself. I reckon, like, if he was good enough, he wouldn't have got sent out on loan with us, would he? But he's good. He's definitely good enough for us because he fits Ange's system perfectly. I just think with Champions League football, I reckon we'll have a better chance of signing CCV and Jota. I think it's going to be another like 5 or 6 players in summer as well. I think.
I think he needs to clear the deadwood, as you all know. Who's going in the summer in your eyes, Shay?
Barkas, Yeti.
You're going to say Barkas.
Sorrow might go.
There's something about me about Sorrow, right? I think Sorrow needs a loan move. There's something tell me I think
I
we
said
need.
that, but I think he should have had it this season.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? He should have got a loan move this season, but it is what it is. I think, but like now I look at the team we've got, and I can't see him getting into it. And what's the point of him staying? There's no point.
James Forrest a new deal or not?
No, I wouldn't personally. I
Do you
just
have
think he's had too many injuries now, and don't get me wrong, great player for us,
He's
legend.
that's what I was about to say. You call him the legend. He is a
Yeah,
legend. He
100%.
deserves a testimonial.
100%. I was watching the other day, us playing Motherwell in the cup final. It was like 11 years ago. Forrest played in that game, we won 3-0. And
Charlie
like,
McGrew, Ki Sung Young, and Wilson.
yeah, the own goal wasn't it, I think. But
Charlie McGrew's free kick that day,
we think was
fucking it.
and
You
Steve's
just
goal
hit.
as well.
You just see it hitting the net and the rain just going.
Yeah, and Timmy's just said then as well in the comments, BOTOND has been absolutely outstanding every time he's come in. I'd
Yeah,
give him a new deal if he's
100%,
he's out of the
100%.
I'd give him a new. He's like as a backup to McGregor or like bringing him on in games where we need a bit of. Like, he was insane when he come on Sunday.
Class against Aberdeen away, class against Ferencváros away, class against Rangers away. You
Yeah,
know, unbelievable against Livy away. He's an away type of player you bring on.
that's another thing as well. Like obviously, like we talk about Ange being this great manager. We were going to sell BOTOND, we were going to sell Rogic, like these players. Like Rogic has been transformed under him, and you could argue BOTOND's been transformed under Ange as well. Like this season, every time I've seen him play, he's been outstanding. Like apart from probably the Michelin game at the start of the season, we got red carded. That's probably the only bad game he's had. But
He's written his name in Celtic folklore more than Bremen Kayal has. And I loved Kayal. I was a big Kayal fan.
Kyle was a great player, yeah.
He was a serious baller. He was captain material. He could score goals. He could defend. He was a fucking badass. But Beaton has put himself. Like people forget, near Beaton has 14 honours for Celtic.
Yeah, it's been here. It feels like it's been here forever. And you know what?
Small Beaton near Beaton.
It's happening. BOTOND. Don't forget that Tierney video. But I just think he's been transformed under Ange. I don't know what it is. Like, because I remember last year he was shite every time he played. But this year, every time he's come on, he's been absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, if Hibs beat Hearts in the semi final, if you're gigging that night, you have to sing fucking "Sunshine on Leaf" for the laugh. And get
I was getting asked for that a lot on Sunday. I was playing that.
Why fucking not? Like sing it, like I
was playing in Edinburgh, wasn't I? And I was getting that asked a lot on Sunday.
And now all the hoibies. Oh, look it. But Shay, it's great to have you on. Hopefully we get you on before the end of the season. Look, it's a bit longer than expected to get you on, but Celtic talk, you can go on for days and hours, you know.
Exactly.
Do you remember when he won the Ballon d'Or? Remember that?
Who?
F.A. Ambrose.
Ballon d'Or in Africa for the African Cup of Nations, wasn't it?
Well, they won the 2013 African Cup of Nations. As I always say, that was one of Lennon's amateur mistakes, bringing him back after being jet lagged, after winning the African Cup of Nations, and starts him against Juve. We had Big Tom Ronnie on the bench. Big Tom should have played.
Yeah, at the time, Lennon was a young manager when he as well, so that's.
Yeah. And what do you think of Lenny at Cyprus?
I made up for him. You got the sun. You've got the fucking holiday.
I was tempted to buy one of the jerseys, the ammonia jerseys.
Honestly, I'd be as a manager, be buzzing. You'd be out there, no much pressure on you to do well, and it's a holiday, innit? You're constantly on holiday in Cyprus. You know what I mean?
But imagine your three rivals in the league share the same fucking stadium as you, like.
Yeah, it's like Inter and AC Milan, innit?
Yeah, what's the next meal for Scott Brown before we finish up?
I think assistant manager somewhere.
I don't want him to come back to Celtic just yet. I think, given the experience, I'd love to see if Sean Maloney took him at Hibs. He's gone to a few Hibs games.
That's a good shout, that Keith, actually. So him going to Hibs with Sean Maloney would be a really, really good shout. Yeah, I agree with that. I'd love to see him at Hibs.
Or let him go to the MLS and work with Ronnie and New York City.
It's not a bad shot. I mean, you'd take it, wouldn't you? Like,
Bruni and Ronnie, imagine again, Bruni and Ronnie.
I think
You can imagine Scott Brown and Ronnie Doyle. It like remember last year when Ronnie was in for the Derby game in one of the boozers in New York. Imagine
yeah.
Bruni and Ronnie in the middle of a boozer, like watching it.
Well, he was in Liverpool when we beat Rangers when Julian scored in the cup final. He was in the bar. I was playing in Liverpool in Lanigan's. He was.
Ronnie was?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Was that the same night as Alan Hansen was there? Was it?
I can't remember. Let me see. I'm sure I've got a picture on my phone. Let me just check that something.
Did you get a picture of you and Ronnie?
Yeah, Ronnie on the stage. Yeah.
You have to show you me and Ronnie. Ronnie Doyle, what a man.
He was just in the bar drinking with all the Celtic fans.
But that's what he's at. Like, you know, when he got the job, I think everybody was against him, and he obviously was unfortunate not to win the treble. He got robbed by Inverness, and then he done the job. He got the 2 titles, you know, and won the cup.
Yeah. It's just videos. I'll send them to you, Keith.
You had to send me the
I'll
pictures of
send you
Ronnie.
the videos.
What's he do? He's probably in the jocks there. Yo.
He got up on stage and done the Ronnie Raw. Swear down.
The fucking Klopp want to stop copying off big
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
I know.
Well, maybe one day big Jurgen will manage Celtic. Maybe one day.
I think he wants the Germany job, doesn't he?
I love to see Jurgen Klopp and Ange sit down and have a chat together. That would be fucking gas.
That'd be unreal. I think I'll say this now. I think Ange is a better manager than Jurgen Klopp.
Fuck. Well, if he wins the treble, I don't. Jurgen Klopp didn't win a treble with Liverpool the 4th season, did he?
Yeah,
No, he fucking didn't.
He hasn't won the Asian Cup as well. You know what I mean? That's a big honour.
The Premier Sports Cup is better than that Carabao Cup. You know, fuck that shit.
Jurgen Klopp is obviously an amazing manager. We all know this, but I'd have no one else in the dugout than Ange at the minute.
No, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. And I tell you, to be protested, the Celtic even talked to another club about letting him go because he's not fucking going anywhere.
Well, I don't think.
I think I'd be like, I'm that attached to him now where, you know, like if he was to leave tomorrow, I'd be getting that kind of upset and feeling like the days of Larson leaving. You know, that's how I feel about Ange because he's at the selling it to us.
Yeah, but I remember him as well. Like, one of his big goals himself is to do well in Europe with us. That's like one of his biggest goals.
And then take the Greece job.
And you take the Greece job.
He wants to end his career with the Greece job. That's why they keep asking him on the Australian podcast, would he ever take the Socceroos job again?
And he's just like, who's the Greece manager now?
Gus Poyet, yeah, Gus Poyet.
Yeah. Greece have got a good side at the minute, actually, to be fair to them.
That's it. They're deep.
Good little side.
Remember they won the 2004 Euros? Fuck's sake.
I know. Honestly, and they were unbelievable.
Unbelievable, exactly. Beating Portugal in their backyard and all they did. They played in the first game and then they beat them in the last game. Unbelievable stuff.
That's like a Leicester, isn't it, winning the league? That's similar sort of vibe, isn't it?
But look, we're going to make a fairy tale this season. As I don't care what other people say. It's Farmer League, it's a 2-horse league, and blah blah blah. Oh, come on! Start of the season, everybody had Rangers as favourites. A lot of Celtic fans wanted a rebuild. I was one of them. Like, we get a rebuild, we beat them once or twice, and win a cup, I'd be happy. Fuck me, we're on top of the world here.
On top of the league.
Do you ever see the video clip of the 2 Celtic fans on the Empire State Building? And the lad's wearing the green top, and he's like, Tom, what are you doing? Tom, what are you doing? He goes, hold on a minute. I thought I seen them. He's like, what? I thought I seen them. I thought I seen the Rangers. It's been taken off YouTube. It is a fucking belter.
I've never seen that video. It's a belter of a video.
It's brilliant. Right, folks, we'll let SHEA go. Let him have his beans and toast. But it's great to have him back on. SHEA, I hope you enjoy the rest of the season.
I know, nice to have
folks, if you're from the Merseyside area, the Manchester area, or even the close around that area, Michael Davitt, CSC, they're based in Liverpool. They drive through Manchester on the way up to beautiful Glasgow. Get on with it. There's over 200 members now of the CSC. SHEA's cousin Declan, get in touch with Declan Doolan. He'll have a chat with you.
That's the one. Nice one, Keith. Appreciate it.
No problem, SHEA. Thanks very much for buzzing on. Really appreciate it, man.
Nice
All
one.
the best.